What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. I have to say one of my favorite builds from 2020 was the Barra GT350 that kind of just happened accidentally. And it turned into something really special, but I feel like the automatic transmission was really holding it back. And just to clarify, we probably could have made it work better if I put the car on a Motec, which can control the 6R80 much better than the standalone controller I had in the car. But it still just lacked the soul that I wanted. And originally my mind was always like, oh yeah, well it'd be cool if it was, you know, this much faster in the quarter mile being automatic. But in the end of the day, I build and drive cars to have fun, and as fun as it is making a pass down the quarter mile, if it's not fun for me to drive it on the street, it's kind of pointless, and it just winds up sitting as it has. It's a great fast running car, and I choose to drive something else other than it pretty much every day. So with that in mind, I wanted to go manual. I guess that's what we're gonna be doing in this video. Also, while we're driving over to the shop, I wanted to give you guys a quick update about my back. I know I was riding the other video and I saw a lot of comments that were happy that my back was doing better, and I thought I should probably explain that it's not doing better. I just thought that going to a pump track and, you know, kind of limiting myself and not riding too hard might be actually good to get some exercise, because I have been kind of just chilling for a while. And I finally did get MRI results, and it turns out that I did somehow herniate a disc, my lowermost disc, and my lower back's been messed up. I guess it's, I've lost kind of some of my lumbar curvature. They don't know when I necessarily herniated the disc, but as a result, the discs above it have started bulging out and hitting nerves, and that's what's been causing so much pain for me. So I don't really know what the answer is in terms of how to get it better or how soon it will get it better. I want to get a couple other opinions, because what I was told wasn't very hopeful. Mind you, I can still do everything. It's just made working on cars and sitting pretty much anywhere other than a few different cars just really cause a lot of discomfort. So I'll keep you guys in the loop. As always, doctor stuff's always weird, and I feel like if I can learn anything, maybe it'll help you guys if you ever have a similar issue, so you don't waste time. So I know I've mentioned in my videos quite a bit that the Barra Mustang is getting a T56 with PPG sequential gears in it. But it's kind of been, I don't want to say a complicated process, but there's been a lot of parties involved in making this happen. And the first party is American Powertrain. And what you see in this box started its life as a T56 Magnum XL. American Powertrain is the largest Tremec dealer and was super helpful in me figuring out which one I needed, because I believe there were 3 different types that I could get, and the one that worked best for this chassis and put the shifter where I needed it to was the T56 Magnum XL. So in this box is a brand new Magnum XL from American Powertrain. In particular, they kind of specialize in selling setups, everything from a crate engine to a brand new transmission, clutches, flywheels, drive shafts, to muscle car guys and people doing custom stuff that need a nice swap. They even do custom Tremec builds, electric power steering, and they're super knowledgeable. So if you guys are ordering anything, I highly suggest reaching out to them, and they can definitely help you figure out what you need. So they helped me get this transmission, and then we sent it to a place called Fat House Fab. And I guess we should open it before I talk anymore. Right off the bat, this don't look stock. This don't look stock. That's some fancy looking machinery we got in here. Oh, it came with a hat? Look at that. So PPG actually recommended that we use Fat House to install the sequential gear set in the T56. And those guys put it together for us actually pretty quick.
Oh, missed it. Dropped my punch. And 4th gear.
Well, I'm excited to feel that thing.
Yeah. It's long, nice and long.
Yep, just how you like it. What?
This isn't factory T56, is it? This is back housing?
Different style back housing. This is the same as the one in the car.
Right.
We hooked the shifter up just so we could do a quick demonstration. Johan, do you want to be my engine for a second?
Broom, broom.
So right now it would be, is it in reverse? All right, now it's in reverse. So we'll go to neutral. All right, we're neutral. You ready? Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1. Wait, hold on. Let's do this again. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I should probably explain why I went with a PPG gearbox in the Mustang. First off, using the T56 casing was kind of cool because of the fact that the Mustang comes with a T56. So I figured in terms of room and space and like OEM-ness, it would be a cool swap to do. And I knew that there was an available bell housing from QuickTime to basically mate a T56 to the Barra. But more importantly, the PPG sequential gear set is actually used in a lot of like high horsepower Vipers because this gear set's actually helical, which makes it a lot quieter, but it will still handle like upwards of 2,000 horsepower. So however crazy we decide to get with this build, this should be more than enough. Chelsea and Vaughn ran this box too and really liked it in some of their demo cars. So it seemed like a very well-rounded option that we could do, and I'm just super excited to get it in the car. So another cool thing about the PPG sequential gear set for the T56 is that you can use like pretty much everything OEM. You can use an OEM style clutch. It's got the same input shaft. It'll work with all the different types of T56s. And one other cool thing, if we ever want to get crazy, there's actually a piece that you can buy. I think it's through Shift Tech. 4 bolts here, it just bolts on, and then it could be air shifted with paddles. So if we ever want to get super wild, and then one other thing that is pretty unique to the PPG setup is this sensor in here that's called the Blade is kind of proprietary to them, and it has a very good closed loop communication with the strain gauge, so you can basically have shifting that's so harmonious that you could shift it with like one finger. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to setting up. I know Freddie's gonna have fun talking to the PPG guys, getting this thing all ready to rip, but for now we have to unbox bell housing, check out the clutch setup that we have, and then get some measurements so we can get a drive shaft made. Got a SFI bell housing from QuickTime. Yeah. Clutch time. So one of the reasons why I didn't go manual with the car originally, it is very difficult to control a manual car, in my opinion, anything over like 800 horsepower, although Mustangs seem to handle it great in terms of the chassis, but getting the right clutch is extremely difficult on the higher power setups. I'm not a big fan of the one that we have on Z-Roy, and that was another hesitation of mine going into this build doing manual. So the person that I spoke to is probably the only person that I know personally that has street driven and drag raced a very high horsepower car for many of miles, and that's Cletus. So I spoke to him and he steered me in the direction of Monster Clutch, and we actually are going to be unboxing the same exact clutch that he ran in Leroy forever, that survived many launches, been driven on the street, and I had actually driven the same exact clutch back when I drove his car forever ago. So this is Monster's LT1 RR triple disc. So if Cletus was able to have this in Leroy, do all his launches, drive it on the street, and it wasn't a mega pain, I figured it would work well for the Mustang. Because if you have a bad clutch, it can make changing gears difficult, especially in an H pattern. The clutch just won't want to release at higher PM. This clutch is rated for 2,000 wheel, 2,000 torque, and a bad clutch choice will ruin a car. So I know I've said this in the past, but for whatever build you are doing, make sure you talk to people that know and have experience with that platform, whether it be power, engine, chassis, because it can make or break a build. If it sucks to drive, like my white Chaser, I hated the clutch setup in that car, so I never wanted to drive it. But I'm confident in this. Cletus helped me a bunch. The guys over at Monster were super helpful, and this is actually a custom Barra T56 combo that they helped me spec out, and we're gonna start mocking everything up and check it out. But look at this, very nice presentation. I like their logo too.
Sick.
What's that guy from Monsters Inc?
The one guy is Mike.
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit, like an evil Mike Wazowski. That's what Schulman looks like when he was Impact on 4.
So what this is a self-adjusting pressure plate. Since these cars don't have a adjustable pedal or master, so that's why this is like this. As the disc wear down, this starts adjusting, so you have the same pedal feel the whole time and get the most wear out of your clutch. All
the little details make such a difference in like product perception. Like that little Mike Wazowski down there looks so cool. I love it. I knew I liked these guys, but that reminded me why. Everybody that I know from Texas is so cool and so nice, for the most part. I was just speaking to Cletus about this clutch, and he's actually ran a 787 on the same clutch. And there's multiple stick shift cars that are in the 7s on it, so that's pretty rad. All right, Jan, walk me through the process here.
This clutch, they call for a specific weight of assembly, so we have to watch out. They marked it for us, so that helps a lot in the process. But pretty much put the plate in, then put the flywheel, use the Reluctite, bolt the flywheel in, torque it to spec, and then you start putting the disc back in. As I'm putting back in, I took them off and I just lay them down the opposite way as they were coming off. And as I'm putting them in, I'm marking them with a T, meaning that they're facing the transmission. And this is facing the engine. So that whoever comes in and works on it, for any reason, that's already labeled so they don't have to worry about putting them in the wrong way.
So it might sound like a clutch that can hold 2,000 horsepower is probably gonna suck to drive, but two important things here. It's a 9.5-inch diameter. It's pretty big, so it's got a lot of surface area with that. And then when you have a triple disc, you have that much more surface area. So the same pressure on a 9.5-inch triple disc as, say, a 8-inch single disc is probably gonna handle, in my mind, probably almost 3 times the amount of power. I know that's like a really rough, arbitrary number, but unless you've driven a lot of multi-disc clutches, it probably sounds like a 2,000 horsepower clutch would suck if you've ever driven like a 600 horsepower rated single disc. It's so stiff that it's like, it's a workout. But I'm excited to feel this thing.
And there's more of
Mike Wazowski, chilling over there. That ain't going nowhere.
Nope. Now we put the pressure plate on. All my lines, line up. So after we put it on, we had to take a measurement from the face of this plate to the teeth on the pressure plate, and that will give us a measurement. I already have the other measurement, and then after that we'll put the bell housing on, take a measurement from the face of the teeth to the face of the bell housing, and then write those down, and then we're supposed to have a number that will tell us everything is good. If not, then we have to figure out what's wrong. So
unfortunately, we have hit a speed bump, and it is kinda not the best news. Yohan, do you wanna demonstrate?
Yeah.
So we have the QuickTime bell housing, and when we went to put it on, you might notice it's not fitting on. It's actually hitting the teeth on the flywheel. And this whole build has been kind of tricky. Not only is it because we're doing a Barra in the US, which isn't very common, it's a lot of weird, peculiar things that haven't really been done that much before, and we're working with a bunch of different parties with information. And Monster helped me out a ton by custom building this clutch based off a stock Barra clutch that I sent them, but the QuickTime bell housing actually doesn't work with the stock ring gear, which we now just found out, and needs a bit smaller one. So I'm sure they'll be able to get it fixed up and get a smaller ring gear on there, which isn't the biggest deal ever, but it is a bummer because it kind of puts a speed bump in the build. However, we're still gonna have to wait to get a drive shaft made. We're still gonna wait for the tools so we can properly index the bell housing, which we'll walk you guys through. But unfortunately, we did hit a speed bump with that, and I know we'll get it sorted soon, but I guess that's just kind of one of the natures of the build. There's so many custom parts, so many different parties involved. PPG, American Powertrain, Fat House Fab, Monster Clutch, QuickTime. There's so much information of like a kind of complex setup that it's very easy for things like this to happen, and I'm sure we'll get it sorted. I finally got some smaller wheels for the Mustang so I can put a decent tire on it so I can put the power down, and in those boxes I actually have Mustang GT brakes, so I'll be able to fit a smaller wheel in the back and a better tire, because the 19-inch kind of limits you. So going down to a 17, we'll have a lot more sidewall, so hopefully it should hook a bit better. So we'll probably do that before we drive it with the new transmission. I don't know if we're gonna do head studs right off the bat or if we're gonna tune it first with a new transmission, yeah. I think Freddie was saying it's gonna make more power now that it's manual over auto. Is that true?
Yeah, it's possible.
Why is that? Less drivetrain loss, maybe?
Yeah.
Got it.
There's a lot going on in automatic transmission, so.
Thing's heavy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Too.
Took like 8 dudes to lift it in the back of the pickup truck. So a few more updates around the shop. The Supra is looking beautiful. The winner actually flies in tonight. Him and his brother, I'm gonna go pick up from the airport. They're gonna stay in the hotel, and then tomorrow morning, I'm going to give him the car, film his reaction, and then while they're hanging out, we're gonna do a track day too. But it's sad to see this thing go. I took it for a drive the other day just to make sure everything's still good on it. So fast, looks so good. Probably one of my favorite cars that I've gotten the experience of owning twice now. Other than that, some other kind of interesting news. I did list both FDs for sale and the RS6. I might actually have a trade that I'm working on with one of the 3 cars. Just got to clear up space. We actually found out from our neighbors that we can no longer park cars here because they're getting a bunch of box trucks. So I need to get rid of some cars here, and I don't have space right now. The other warehouse is full, so I'm doing whatever I can. And then parting out pretty much the rest of this black GT350 shell. I got most of it gone, but if you guys need anything, I guess find a way to get a hold of Schulman or something. There's still some interior stuff left, some trims, random cluster, the dash. Nothing's like in perfect shape, but maybe if yours is burnt or messed up, Headliner's gone. I still got the carpet. One good fender. Hood's kind of smushed. And then all the glass is still left. But I got to get that thing out of here by Monday, so I'll probably end up just, I don't know what I'll do with the shell. But I'll probably sell it for super cheap if someone wants to buy it. And then other exciting news, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but in the new building that I've kind of alluded to, we are in the closing period, and we did just have inspections today, and it seems like everything's about what we expected. There's a few little rough things here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty dialed, so hopefully the ball will be rolling with that, and I'll keep you guys posted. But it's a long procedure, and I think we still got probably another 30 to 45 days before we're even close to being able to move into the property. In the shop, there's a ton going on. The Z's getting some TLC because I've got a special guest joining us in town that'll probably end up driving it. This is Johan's favorite car in the whole shop.
Yep.
It's so pretty.
Yep.
Can you kick the door for me real quick? I like the commitment. I like the commitment.
You told me to kick the door, so I got permission to kick the door, so I'm going to kick the door.
Shulman would have hesitated, I bet.
Oh yeah.
I'll do it to him later and see if he does it. That was a good kick. And then over here we got Freddie and Chris is in town, going over the S15, giggling over the big turbo that we got here. Tell me about it.
We're compensating.
For what?
For JC.
Yeah. So we are going down in displacement. Freddie's been kind of overseeing a new engine that we'll show you guys and give you some updates on. But for now, Chris is just kind of mocking things up and figuring stuff out. Anything you want to say?
No.
Okay. And then over here, I haven't showed you guys the E36. But Johan made some pretty cool mounts under here. Gonna be kind of hard to see, but because the intercooler and oil coolers interfere, he made some mounts underneath. So this is actually mounted to the chassis, the LTW splitter, and then the bumper can still slide off, but it looks really good. Definitely got the cool OEM Plus look going on. But I'll show you guys once we get it off the lift. He's just kind of going over some power steering stuff since I might drive it this weekend. Imagine we all get pulled over in all my own cars. Chris is gonna tree us all.
All right.